She's really, really tall. Yeah, she's my baby. My baby. Okay, so let's see what we need here.
Would someone mind?
Because it doesn't have greasy fingers near the page.
Okay,
no,
so we got,
this.
so we got sclera, which you should be able to see on both of these really nicely. It's the solid, hard, white stuff that you guys were kind of struggling to cut through. Here's some more of it. And then you can see his really nicely. It's definitely something that at some point before you leave today you want to feel, so you get the sense of just how hard it is. We're going to go out of order. This, what looks like snot, like the loogie that somebody hawked into the back of the eye. This is vitreous humor. This is actually not too far from the consistency as I understand it. I've never seen the inside of a human eye except in like a cadaver, which is going to have the same problems. So.
Ooh, nice.
This is the lens, yeah. And so, yeah, you definitely feel this because it's like amazing what happens to it after. It is not this hard in real life. Like it's like a marble.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be able to.
Yeah, it's supposed to change shape, and it wouldn't at this.
Oh my, yeah.
And it's not cloudy like that because then you couldn't see at all. Now, this is actually cool because you know how you're reading that, and we couldn't even see them on the model, that there are these little suspensory ligaments that hook the lens up to the ciliary body. This is the remnant of them.
The black stuff?
Yeah. So those are all the little ligaments that would hook it up, and you can see some of them have even got, and then there's probably even some of the ciliary processes attached to that. But that's all vitreous humor in there. The snot, the lens. Okay. Now, let's find the retina. The retina in sheepies, in us, is very, very delicate. It's this yellow layer. So we can very gently slide that back. Okay, and that is that.
Sorry
you can
if I'm
see there's
blocking
really
you.
nothing that attaches it to the underlying tissue. So that's why we have the vitreous humor helping to put pressure and keep it at the back of our eyeball. And I bet we have, yeah, and you can see you've got all the snot there too.
Oh, that's nice.
You got rid of the egg.
I got rid of your egg, yep. So snot, and then so the vitreous humor, all the ciliary processes and suspensory ligaments, and the lens there as well. And you can see all of the retina intact here. Okay? I'm sure we need to find the choroid. Yeah, exactly, and a detached retina doesn't function, so that's why they'll have to reinsert the pressure somehow. Okay, so once we start to move this, you can see this, what looks little iridescent, like the inside of a conch shell or something, or black. That's the choroid. The choroid is usually described as a really dark layer, and you can see it here as well. You can see that dark layer. And remember, that's dark because it's going to absorb any excess light that comes in, so the light doesn't just bounce around and around your eye, and then you get confused and you don't know where anything is. This weird shape, just informationally, someone asked about it one time. I read that it comes from protein interactions with the light, and it may only be there in preserved specimens, so I'm not sure, but it's very pretty. But that's choroid. Then we have, oh, and I just wanted to show you, if we keep pulling off, we can pull off the choroid, you can see the sclera underneath it. See, this is another way to see the sclera real nicely. So we're seeing sclera. Cornea, you can see again, it changes once we preserve it, and it's nice and opaque. In us, it would be clear, and you can see it on the front of that eyeball really well. That's all cornea. Okay, ciliary body. That's why I have you do this cut. So, in this cut, all of this is ciliary body. Okay, you can see it really well when we go through it. All the rippled dark stuff. And then you can see the pupil here is real. You can see it really clearly because you can see through to the cornea in front, and you can remember that they have a little horizontal slit as theirs, as opposed to us who have a circle. And then if we pull this back, we can see the little brown, that they have brown eyes. So this is the iris portion in here. Sky yellowy brown eyes. That's the iris. So you can scratch out aqueous humor. Obviously we can see vitreous humor real nicely. What are we missing? Optic nerve and optic disc. Okay. So, yeah, this is, I'll show you both of them. So see, look at what happens. I can move this retina, but do you see how it attaches at one place? This one place where it attaches is the optic disc, and the reason it attaches there is because that's where all those ganglion, they're all traveling and taking the information to get out to the optic nerve, so they're all, part of them is processing out towards the back. So in order to do it, I have to scrape pretty hard to get that off. So now we can completely remove the retina, and you can see half of the optic disc here. So it's going to be the part of the choroid that's going to look yellow as opposed to dark because it doesn't have the choroid material there. And you can always make sure that it's the optic disc because you can look over on the other side and you can see the optic nerve. The easiest way to double check that it's the optic nerve, and whenever things are out like this, I did it for the cat, you may not have needed it, but whenever things are out like this, I'll always put gloves, pointers, things for you to do it, because one of the easiest things is to feel it. You can feel the hardness of the optic nerve, and it's very different from all the other tissue. We can also see it, let me show you on this one, really nicely in this, more vitreous. Okay. Here, see this little ball? This is the optic nerve. Okay, and again, you can feel how hard it is in contrast to the stuff around it, which means right opposite that inside, we're looking for the optic disc, which is where everything looks like it's converging here at the middle. Okay, you will not be able to see the fovea or the macula on these guys. You just can't see it. It's a place where we have more photoreceptors, so it doesn't look any different from anything else. That's it. So let me put